This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 802 for the week of January 22nd, 2024. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And on today's show, we have two special guests with us. Steve will be joining us a little bit later, so he says. First, from Road Podglifos, it's been apparently over a year since we've had them on. Belle is joining us. How's it going, Belle?
Hi everyone. It's good.
Good. I'm glad. And our special guest today, he was Cannonball on Craig of the Creek. A lot more I could go through. Head writer, executive producer on Your Friendly Neighborhood I'm reading your thing. Spider-Man freshman year. I got caught. Jeff Trammell is here. How's it going, Jeff?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. It is actually Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man now. The title has changed.
Oh, it has. Okay, so
you were good.
I was right.
You got away with it.
I called myself out, and I shouldn't have. Jeff, there was one thing that we do at the beginning of the show when we have a new guest on that I completely forgot, and we just ask some really basic questions. There's no wrong answers, but there are right answers. So first, we ask... actually, before we even get into that, how did you get into One Piece? What's your origin story?
I had some friends trying to get me into it forever, including Steve. And I kind of was like, like everyone, it's so much. Then the pandemic happened and I was like, well, I have way more time. My wife actually started reading in the first chapter and she's like, this kid stabs himself in the face. You have to read this. And it was fate. So I actually started officially, I want to say in August of 2021 and caught up by December of 2021.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty good.
Hey, I was also doing Spider-Man at the time, so I didn't have a lot of free time to do that.
That happens to all of us. That eats away at all of it. I haven't heard it pitched the kid stabs himself in the face for some reason. That doesn't happen in the anime, which is a shame. It does happen in live action, which is good. But no one ever pitches it like that. I feel like they're missing out on a lot of people. Like, kid stabs.
It's a good draw because I'm like, well, if this is happening in chapter 1, what's coming? So it got me.
Yeah. Do you think that laid the groundwork correctly, at least?
No, but it opened the door. It opened the door, and then everything else got me nice and acclimated, I think.
Okay, good. So now I'll ask the questions. First, who is your favorite Straw Hat Pirate?
Yeah. I think I have to say Zoro, because I have him on my body the most. I have 3 Zoro tattoos.
What other One Piece tattoos do you have?
I got Zoro, Luffy, and Sanji. I have the Straw Hat, Jolly Roger, as well as Usopp's and Zoro's. I have the Gum Gum Fruit, and I have Ace's Fruit, and I have Yamato.
Nice. All good choices. Yeah. I was going to say 3 Zoros is the correct amount of Zoros to have.
Yes,
I don't know if you
3
can have
Zoro
more.
style.
Yeah. Who's your favorite non-Straw Hat?
Yamato / Odin. I'm cheating.
Yeah. Oh, I see what I was like. Oh, okay. I didn't know if you meant, good choice as well. What is your favorite story arc in One Piece?
I feel like this is going to be controversial. I'm going to say Dressrosa.
That's controversial.
I know. I want to say Alabasta, but I love Dofi.
Heck yeah!
Belle is on your side.
One for the Dressrosa team! Woo!
I think people who marathon through it really took Dressrosa in a very different way than we did reading it week to week.
Having to wait for it.
We've had this conversation before.
We have had this conversation. I don't need to relitigate it, but I could. So I guess this will answer the next question. Who's your favorite villain or antagonist?
Dofi for sure.
Easy. Am I missing any? Was that 4 or 5, Ed? I think that was all of them, right?
Yeah, I think that's all of it. Have you watched any of the anime, or did you just read the manga?
I read the manga and I watched some of the films, but I've never watched like the anime concurrently.
Oh,
Just episodes here and there.
Did you enjoy any of the films?
I enjoyed Red. I saw Strong World. Weirdly enough, Steve was also there. Maybe you guys were there. And I enjoyed the goofiness that is Gold. Just the fun of it.
Gold's fun. The music's really good in Gold.
Yeah.
You should watch movie 6 at some point.
I want to watch that. I need to find the time to do it. That's the one that's like...
It's the Hosoda one. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of obscure, right?
The obscure dark.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obscure in that it's never been released in North America in any official kind of way, I think.
Pretty obscure.
Yeah. That makes it obscure, I guess. It's One Piece, so at this point, the obscurity is not really...
Fair.
Yeah. So today on the show, we are going to go through chapter, I was going to say 10, 1104. I believe we also have a manga recap for 1091, right, Ed? Maybe
1091. That sounds right.
Out. Yeah. And we're gonna do some piece together. Before we get started, I think Ed, you probably are the only one here. Has anyone else here seen the Monsters special on Netflix that literally came out today, as we record? So Ed,
No, I forgot it was today.
me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
Yep. It's
advertising.
It was a decent episode of an anime. It's there's not much. I mean, you have to tell a whole story in like 22 minutes, and some good swordplay in it. The characters are not, they make a point about like how Ryuma is. They kind of show his beliefs, his morals. In the end, it gets that over. But the villains are pretty simplistic, and the killing of the dragon is pretty cool. Like they amp up the animation in the last quarter probably, and looks pretty good. It's it's a solid One Piece side story. Yeah.
Does it have like? Sorry, Zach.
No,
does it have like non?
I talk enough.
Sure.
Does it have like non-canon material compared to the chapter 0? Because it's from chapter 0, right?
No, it's from Wanted.
It's from Monsters.
It's from a one shot.
Sorry.
So I actually haven't read it because it's never been released in English. But
another obscurity.
Well, yeah. Hopefully one day.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully not forever.
But they do put the scene from Thriller Bark with Zoro and Ryuma at the end of it. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they draw that. They make it explicit.
So, spoilers. The English, the English cast, by the way, Chris Sabat is in it. For those wondering, Robbie Damon plays Ryuma. Ray Chase plays Shirano. Brianna Knickerbocker plays Flare, and DR and Master is played by Kyle McCarley. So I think the English and the Japanese are both available.
I'll have to go back and watch it in English.
It's only 25 minutes. It's not like,
Yeah.
You can always just listen to it in the background even.
It's the same length as an episode of the anime.
Yeah, it is. I knew it was going to be short. I'm surprised it was that short. Just because they had a whole new studio doing it, and it's like a whole new production, I thought. But there you go. Also, the Egghead episodes are on Netflix, and I don't know if they caught up with everything in between, but that's pretty amazing news.
Yeah.
Is that the case too in Brazil?
Yeah, we thought it wasn't gonna be, but then at the last minute, Netflix Brazil announced on their Twitter account, and we were like, oh, really? Because like the dub is really far from Egghead here. It's on Sabaudi right now.
Oh, wow.
The dub?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, wow, indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, they restarted the dub I don't remember. I think it was 2021 or 22. they restarted doing the dub. So Netflix is doing with a local studio, and so they're like they don't release a lot, and the last batch of episodes was Sabaudi to, I think the last one they have is 407.
I think that's like the first anime recap we did in 2009.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that tells you how far behind they are. They just have our entire podcast catalog to get.
That's what Impel Down then?
Yeah, and they have been releasing the movies. So like they have to stop to record movies.
Anyway, to be fair, I know Funimation / Crunchyroll was, how far behind were they before this like insane speed up? I think they were like in Dressrosa, I believe, and they did all of the rest of it in like 2 years. Everything from Dressrosa on, so it's doable if you have money and time and resources and talent. And
if Oda doesn't release a movie or a spin-off or a new Netflix
well, I'm sorry,
season,
you're gonna be stuck in the pre-time skip world forever there. There's no chance of like getting out.
In Brazil, they only, for the live action, they only changed Luffy. The rest of the main cast is the same dub. So
did Iñaki do it in Iñaki did it in Brazil?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't speak Portuguese.
Oh, I thought he did. I thought you had said he did. No, my mistake.
No. I thought he could. It would be a dream, but no. It was a local Brazilian boy who used to dub mostly, I think, cartoon characters, and then they made like a online poll for fans to choose from three voice actors. So they had like 3 guys almost the same age, and people choose one of them, and he was the chosen dub voice for Luffy. That's how they figure it out.
That's a crazy way to choose your dub.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because then if they don't like it, you can be like, well, it's your fault. You voted for it.
Yeah, literally.
I feel bad for the 2 who it's like they got chosen, but they didn't get enough votes. Like, that's gotta be rough, I assume.
But like the 3 voice actors were really close. They became close friends through the I don't remember if it was like a month like kind of a month of poll, and then they like became really close, so like in the end it wasn't too bad.
That sounds like a reality show, I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, I think what you do is you wait for them to get older, then you cast them as Ace and Sabo.
Yeah,
now
literally.
You got older.
I agree. Or you just cast them as Ace and Sabo and hope they have the range to do that. That's an incredible idea, and I'm actually surprised I haven't heard of that here.
I think what like was harder for the fans was like not having Carol, the anime voice actor for Luffy, doing Yaki, because like in the beginning everyone was like, what are you doing? Why are you changing?
We voted.
And then people were,
this isn't democracy.
We want her. We don't want to choose from between 3 guys. We want her. And then they were like, oh, wait, I think it fits a little better because of Iñaki's personality and the difference between him and, like, he's very Luffy, but he's not Luffy. He's a kind of Luffy. Like, Oda even said that he's one interpretation of Luffy. So like he has, like, it wasn't gonna be the same thing. I think in the end it became a really good dub.
I think
with the actor they chose.
Not to get too far on this tangent, which we're very far down, but I think Mayumi Tanaka even like voiced him a little differently in the live action, like a little like. However, Mayumi Tanaka could get a little bit crazy still, that voice comes out of her. She's incredible.
Yeah, it's kind of rougher than like childish,
more
Luffy.
serious, I guess. I don't know how to put it
Yes.
somber than not very
It's like
somber.
when
but
Luffy
more.
is fighting in a very serious moment, or he's doing a speech in a very serious moment. That's the voice she usually uses for him at that moment, and that's what she used for Iñaki the whole time, because that's more him.
To be fair, I mean, the live action, I think this was in one of the Oda comments during that. They have a lot of like dialogue compared to the anime and the manga, like because people talk a lot more than they do in those. So we're probably just hearing Luffy's speaking voice versus, you know, what we see, I think, in the everyday, you know, his big moments. Anyway.
Screaming voice.
Yeah, exactly. We should get into the chapter and everything else, though. Belle and Jeff, thank you. Belle, thank you for the Brazilian dub catch-up, and Jeff, thank you for your One Piece journey catch-up. Let's get into the manga. This is the manga recap for chapter 1104. Thank you, Daddy. This chapter and all chapters are available at shonenjump.viz.com and mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp. They're free, legal, available worldwide. What are you waiting for? You know, I say this every week. Anyway, Ed, let's get to the important stuff here. I don't want to talk about anything else except this cover page. What's going on?
These are engagement photos. It's Sanji delivering a dessert to a newly engaged rat couple at a restaurant by Toshikazu, and that's a good pen name too. It's adorable. In their little rat hidey hole at their at their restaurant table, and Sanji looming like a colossus in the background with a cake made of cheese. Lit candles.
The new Attack on Titan is...
The diamond goes ping. You see that there's a little star there. A little starburst. It's very charming. What do you think? Look at the little smile on his face.
I'll say maybe it's because I just saw Arthur the other day for the first time in a while, but this is a straight rat wedding. I think as someone on our Discord put it. Or maybe it's gay rat wedding. I don't really know the genders of these mice.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, no, this is probably one of the better cover story, like random animal with a straw hat or something that I've seen in a while.
I don't know if you're gonna watch all the 3 Cinderellas as a dad, Zach, but it reminds me.
There's 3 Cinderellas.
There's 3 Cinderellas.
What happens to the other 2?
Second one is her life as a wife, and
that sounds fun.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's not outdated at all.
And becoming best friends with one of the sisters. The other sister, like, I think it's forgotten. I don't know.
I like the original version where they die.
Yeah.
Wait,
it's just cleaner that way.
To be fair, the original versions of all the Disney movies are kind of like that, and they're all really fucked up. So
yeah, that's true.
And
in the third,
I should read Cinderella is what I should do.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, and in the third, she travels back in time.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we gotta put One Piece on hold here. What?
Cinderella 3.
Yeah, I'm looking this up too.
It's true.
Anything to distract from the fact that Sanji doesn't have a thumb.
I was gonna bring that up, and I'm glad you.
Oh God!
What?
They took my thumb.
Oh no, maybe it's stuck up into the cake, and that's how he's holding. You know, like a like a hole. Yeah, like an easel. That's what I'm thinking of. It's like an easel.
God.
Oh no!
Oh my God! No! Oh no! Not his thumb. Not the poor boy's thumb. Oh no! He's so happy too. Not his. Oh, why didn't I notice that? Okay, let's get back to Cinderella 3. A Twist in Time. I can't believe it.
It's
when
true.
When is it from? When did that come
It's from 2007.
Yeah.
That's too recent.
There's so many issues with this. I don't even know where it was released.
It's
Frank
like,
Welker's in it.
I think it's what would have happened if she didn't marry him? I don't remember. I think
so. She regrets her wedding to this prince, is what it sounds like. She's like, I wish I never lost that slipper. I wish we weren't a couple.
Yeah.
I'd rather go back to just cleaning up all the time.
And then she's like, wait, no, I think not. Maybe no.
So to those listening to us for the first time, I apologize. Normally we talk about Cinderella 3 later in the show. And wow, that thumb is gonna.
I'm sorry.
That was Ed's fault. The thumb.
They took his thumb.
I assume this also hurts the, let's say, Baradier's health rating. Even if they're getting married, you still probably don't want rats. I
mean,
in your restaurant,
Sanji doesn't have thumbs on either of his hands in this picture.
Yeah.
Well, one of them is just hidden, right? Like,
it could be.
That's what they want you to think.
Okay, my girlfriend
it's a
who's over
conspiracy?
here,
Yeah.
she's remembered that it's basically her sister makes a wish and changes everything. Like it's like if they never married. So it's a whole other story. And
The
then
sister that she becomes friends with in the second one?
yeah, it's the sister she becomes friends with in the second one, right? Yeah, it's the same sister.
So it was a
True
ploy.
colors.
Backstabber.
Wow.
Oh my god! Wait, so Cinderella 1 was I need to say this though was in 1950.
Yeah.
Cinderella 2 was in 2002.
Yeah.
And Cinderella 3 was in 2007.
Yeah.
They were really planning on the last two for that
It
half
took
century.
them it took
Half
them
a century.
Yeah.
Hey Steve.
Welcome to the Cinderella podcast.
How's your,
We're talking about
how's your feelings
Cinderella
on
3.
Okay.
Okay. So Steve, if you are, do you have any thoughts on Sanji's missing thumbs?
Wait, he's missing thumbs in this?
It's Ed's fault.
I wouldn't say he's missing thumbs. That's just like the perspective there. He's got really wrinkly old man hands, though.
Yeah.
Wait, is it in both?
It's from the
because
water. He cooks too much.
He's
always
missing a
washing
thumb
the
in
dishes.
one of those two hands, though, right? Like he has to
it's-
be.
Both the thumbs are just blocked. It's like if his thumb was showing in that right hand, it would just be weird.
Doesn't it look like it? Doesn't it look like the thumb indentation though? Like right there, it should be there.
No. This is why you don't draw, Zach.
Okay, I'm gonna leave now. He's right though. Ed, what's going on the first page?
Well, it picks up right where we left off. He's about to get punched. Saturn's about to get punched in the face by the very animated Kuma. He's coming through the clouds, moving at breakneck speed, and we get tiny little flashbacks here. The Buccaneer boy. Your only options are slavery or death. And then from Kuma's dad, we get, your mother's dead, son. I think she's better off that way. And then young Jenny, we hear, I'm so happy. And then we hear, I'm sorry, over the phone, over the snail phone. I'm sorry, Kumachi. I'm dying. It won't be long now. And him kneeling in the church before his the cross with the sun symbol in it. There's some imagery for you. And crying little baby Bonnie. And then crying child Bonnie in present day. And Saturn is losing his shit, basically. He says, why is this happening, Vegapunk? He should be dead. A few days after the Revolutionary Army took Kuma away, I pressed his self-destruct switch. And Vegapunk is seemingly baffled by this. He says, huh? And
Before we get to the kinetic moment,
sure.
I don't know if this occurred to you. At first, I was like, "Why a few days after?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it probably takes a few days to get there before pressing that." Also, like,
Well,
how long is this punch?
They don't
taking
have
to 5G
in this world.
Oh yeah, that's
Well, you can't report like a missing person until they've been gone for like a certain amount of time, so
you can't press someone's blow up a bunch of people button until that Ed, go ahead. Sorry.
Sure, but yes, Kuma is getting even closer. You get the big, bloody face, big gritted teeth, very fast-moving fist. Lots of creating action with the still image here. Yeah, he's about to punch Saturn in the face.
And I gave Jeff a very difficult page here to...
Yes. So, next page, we open with the hockeyed fist of Kuma just connecting in the most satisfying crack of the bones of the face of Saint Saturn. Arguably the most satisfying punch since Charlos or Bellamy. Next panel, we see him just leaning, basically being knocked away. It feels like he's leaning into this punch, and still just the force of it cracks him back. He lets go, and then finally we go to this beautiful splash of just enraged Kuma just following through, getting the full effort of this punch, and just knocking Saturn back with. I could talk about this panel all day, although I do think it's kind of ironic you guys brought me in here to talk about a Spider-Man getting punched in the face. But it is what it is.
Oh, poor Spider-Man. Yeah, I was wondering when we were talking about pages to give and the amount of dialogue generally. But do you think this, Steve, like in the old days, do you think this would have been just a one-panel page? Because was that what they did with Charlos? I feel like it was.
Yeah, when Charlos got punched, that was a one page. Yeah, I don't see this being anything new for Oda. This is his same old sensibilities.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Belle.
So we go to the next page and we have the aftermath of the punch. Just the spider with its legs up on the ground.
Don't like it.
And the crowd screaming, Saint Saturn! We see some buildings crashing because of the fallout. We see Saint Saturn, like his face is all cracked up, he's bleeding. And we have another like frame of the scene, like everything being torn apart because of the punch. And everyone is like, look at the town. What is this? What is happening? Did Kuma do this? It's like the Marines talking about the situation. And then we see there were some other ones in the crowd. He punched out one of the 5 elders, the highest authority in the whole world.
Those are some tongues.
Yeah. It's like, it's a tiny Anno moment.
Yeah, I guess that's...
Yeah. And we see Kuma's face, his like so... I want to hug him right now. I'm so proud of him at this moment.
He gets a hug soon.
Yeah, I'm so happy that Bonnie's there to give him that. And we see the Marines screaming, saying, "Rescue Saint Saturn at once. He's trapped under the buildings. A slave just punched the man at the pinnacle of the world." And we see Kuma kneeling down because he's, of course, tired. He just ran around the world to do this. Like, we've been waiting for, like, I don't know how many chapters he began running, but he deserves it. And we see everyone, like, someone screaming, this is a historical atrocity.
Yeah, that's the part. This is the part that's the atrocity, right?
Yeah, the kneeling down, of course.
Yeah. The guy got punched by a slave. That's not the atrocity.
It's
him getting punched is the atrocity.
I thought it was super interesting. I mean, Kuma has had a lot of titles in his life that people would know him for, and it's interesting that they chose Slave specifically.
Yeah.
I think they're setting something up there. I think that's part of the reason.
Well, that's what he was doing most recently. He was the loner slave at Mary Joa.
Yeah, but they did say when he came to the island, they did say one of the former warlord Kuma is on the and
Yeah.
To be fair, that would conjure up more fear. I think.
I get what you're saying, like the narrative of choosing a slave punched a celestial, like
it's
elder.
true, and it's true, and it's a good way to write that one historical atrocity here, but to punch him in the face, but yeah, kind of. It was just I just thought it was interesting. Steve, we gave you the page with all the text and German and tongue sticking out, so this was not my idea.
Okay. I don't know. So this must be Sanji here saying, "Finally, I can move again." Bonnie, are you hurt?
I thought it was Frankie, but maybe you're right.
Yeah. Well, I think this is Frankie here saying, "Now's our chance. Take Bonnie and let's move on up. Escape is our only goal." And I do almost like. I don't think this was intentional, but it almost works. But I kind of like that. Vegapunk's thoughts here are almost in that negative space of where his head used to be. He says, God, I always change my Vegapunk voice every week. It's like, what happened? I did not attach any self-destruct switch. I knew that if I helped turn you into a bomb, they would inevitably use you as a suicide weapon. I upheld
Turning
their
into
conditions
Daffy
in
Duck.
the end. Yeah. Well, I was trying to do more Sylvester. It's all Mel Blanc.
Oh, okay. Actually, that works.
And then we get the biggest bear hug in the world here.
Literally.
Yeah. God, everyone was just waiting to make that joke.
You set us up well.
You did it. Yeah. Take a bow.
I attached a total shutdown switch to you, and now that it's been thrown, you should be in a total vegetative state, without the ability to act of your own free will or even carry out orders. There is no reason he should have sprung into motion, and no logical scientific basis for his arrival at this island where Bonnie is. So Vegapunk he continues. So is it true then? It is not the physical strength of the Buccaneer. I almost said the Buka.
To be fair,
not,
the way is
it's not
the
Buka Ratones. It is not the physical strength of the Buccaneers that makes them remarkable. For at one point in time, oh God damn it!
What again?
Stop this! Just tell us things.
Just tell us the thing.
Never.
I think Ken on our Discord. I have for Jeff, by the way. I've had a running joke that I've been very annoyed at how Clover never said the name of the ancient kingdom in Ohara when he was about to. And I know he was shot, but he was fine after and was talking and stuff, and still decided not to tell anyone.
Zach, I still argue that there was no reason for him to say it because it felt like
I wanted to know, Steve. That's why.
It's not like he was. It's not like he was asking everybody else. He was only asking, the five elders.
Maybe he was worried that he would get shot again if he tried to say it again.
Yeah,
exactly.
You ever been shot before?
Don't shoot me!
Like hell.
Don't shoot me twice. Oh my God.
That again.
I was going to say, though, I think the answer to that question is the question in this answer. It's like the Jeopardy version of the Ohara one. Anyway, go ahead.
But I think Kizaru here is trying to collect himself, and he says, well, it's Jover. Sorry, I had to steal that joke from Stephen Paul. And Sentomaru kind of smiles in approval, just, thinking of Kuma here. And then we get these... these cartoon characters out of I don't know.
Oh my God! Yeah,
something animated like I don't like that
Cinderella 3.
Not quite. I was gonna say that like cartoon that became like a meme last year with like it was like George Washington and maybe like someone else there like walk into a room. That's what these guys look like.
I have no
I don't
fucking
know.
idea what you're talking about.
Neither do I.
I was going to say Baby Blues characters.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good.
I feel like they'd be rounder, and they'd
That's
also
a fair point.
Yeah, they'd also be talking about how their life is over and they're 29 with a house that they were able to afford.
I can't.
I'm still not over it.
No,
you know?
you shouldn't be. It's
fucking 29-year-olds. Anyway, so they're whispering like, "Wear straw hat." The other guy's like, "He disappeared before we could apprehend him. I don't want to make that report. Oh, geez." And
wow, how did you know exactly what that guy sounded like?
We could see Bonnie's little hand here reaching out to Kuma, and we see like little this little bolts of electricity coming from this broken robot man. But she says,
Sorry, the way
you.
you just put that.
Broken robot man. She says, "Thank you, Daddy. I saw all of your memories. Mommy was such a wonderful person, and you wrote me all those letters after all. I was so happy to find out."
Yeah. Ed.
Yep. Everyone calls you a tyrant, but I know my daddy is the kindest and most wonderful man in the entire world. I'll never, ever forget it. And a hug and close up on both the faces, and it's a touching scene. But it's quickly broken up by explosion in a pile of rubble behind them, and people are screaming. And it's Saint Saturn. He's back, and he puts his pincer down. He slams it into the ground.
Spider-Man?
Yeah. And he is pissed. He says, "Rigapunk, how do you explain all of this? Was it your doing?" Well, I suppose it must look that way. I could call it the power of love if it makes you feel any better. I see. And there's a flaw in the human form, an error in the programming. Farewell, I have no more use for you men. And his body is regenerating. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he already did that once when he got stabbed
That
in
was
the beard.
his beard was regenerating in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is crazy looking, and you got the Oda swirls and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you want to call that. Bell.
So is he incorporating
Bell.
like his underlings taking their force to rebuild himself? What's going on?
Is
here?
that...
I have no more use for you men.
I
he, like-
assumed he meant Vegapunk, but because there's not, they would show a reaction of the randoms. Like you're thinking of like an
Right.
FMA, like a
Yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist-y kind of thing.
Well, his
And
arm
I-
is missing. Like, how is he regenerating that? What's he using to regenerate it?
It's a good question.
The dark flames of mystery.
I guess.
The dark side, yes.
right.
Bell. I don't know is the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bunny says, "Look out, Daddy. Move out of the way." And Sanji zooms in and says, "Don't do anything to break Bunny's heart, Spider-Gramps." I love it.
That's the new Spider-Man. Spider-Gramps.
Yeah.
Spider-Gramps.
Spider-Gramps.
Spider-Gramps. Yeah.
Does whatever Spider-Gramp does. Which is
And-
apparently just awful thing. Murder, tyrannical rule, authoritarianism, Spider-Gramps.
And Sanji kicks his claw out of the way. And Frankie aims at him, saying, "We owe Kuma a great debt too." And he's like aiming the radical. And we see Kizaru. I hate him. Honestly, I'm so pissed. I'm not gonna, but anyway.
We'll get there.
I'm
Sure, we'll
yeah.
talk about Kizaru plenty.
Yeah. And he's like, and it's true. You've developed very well. I think he's talking about Frankie. And Frankie shots at Saturn with the radical beam. And then Kizaru is behind him and he says, "Show me how you've grown." Sanji screams at Frankie, trying to warn him, and Kizaru shoots at Frankie from the back like a freaking ass that he is. Yeah, and I think that's Frankie falling to the ground as a ball of. Oh no, that's just the hole in Sand Saturn's. Like the dude. I'm so angry. But yeah, that's it. Take Saturn has a hole. Yeah, I was so upset. Sorry.
Well, we'll definitely get to that more. Yeah, so it looks like he's regenerating the hole that Frankie created. But yeah, Frankie's also being thrown into the abyss.
On the ground, yeah.
So we continue on as Bonnie, in her true age form, continues saying, "Daddy's not moving, Vegapunk." And Vegapunk says, "You could carry him to the Labophase, Atlas." I try every week and it's always bad. And Atlas is like, "Yeah, I got this." And you forget, but Atlas is like the same size as Kuma. Carries him over her head. And here we have Kizaru standing just in front of Saturn, who looks absolutely fine. As Kizaru said, "Now that even Kuma's in the scene, let's say we got an abundance of players, wouldn't you? Let's finally end this." And Vegapunk says, "Have you no heart? You are a sad man, Kizaru." Bell talking through Vegapunk here. And he says, "Yes, I'm a miserable sight. I should have brought darker shades," as he fixes his sunglasses. And meanwhile, we get a zoom out from random schmoes in the Navy, I assume, saying the Buster Call has been activated, something we've never seen before. "This island has been declared a threat to the world government. All warships prepare for bombardment. Burn it to the ground in the name of justice." And we have all the ships that were already there on the outside, I guess, awaiting to do something there, as we see the lava phase is still at 100%. And we get a good outside look of Egghead before this happens. And Saturn says, "Those who study the secrets of the world, those who possess the blood of a lost people, those who have awakened an ancient god, this island is full of inconvenient people who must be eradicated." And that is, Saturn gets the last word, unfortunately. Spider-Gramps, once again, gained the better of us. There is a chapter next week, right? I hope. And that'll do it for this week's chapter. Jeff, your thoughts?
Oh, man. This went from, oh, hell yeah, this is great, Kuma's getting his justice, Kuma's getting vengeance, to, oh no, oh god, this thing is happening, all these people are gonna die, in like 0 to 100. I mean, I'm just very curious, is my main thought. I don't know what the deal is with Saturn still, and I'm a bit curious regarding... I mean, we've seen how Buster Calls have gone in the past, and I feel like we're like 1-1 for them, so I could see this one going through, although obviously with no one of our importance being there. But yeah, it's just weird. I don't know how the government's going to spin this one, is what I'm wondering.
Any other thoughts on the...
Oh, yeah, I need to say that Kizaru had the, for me, best line in this entire chapter with "I should have brought darker shades." It's badass. If it pops up in Spider-Man, no, I stole it from this. No.
Got that? Let me call Shueisha's lawyers. No. Yeah, I agree with that. That's correct.
It's his just following orders thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a really good line, the "I'm a miserable sight." I really think it also depends where we see his character go next. I'm not like saying he's going to do a face, what do you call it, heel turn, or the opposite of that, Steve.
He's a sad man, and I'll say whatever I like about him.
Yeah. But I don't think he's going to go good, but I think he realized he was faced with something here. I'm just curious where he ends up here. And I think this line in retrospect is going to be even cooler because we'll, I think, know a lot more of why. Ed, what about you? What did you think?
It was a very touching moment with Kuma and Bonnie, even if it was very short-lived. I guess, I mean, it's sort of going over 2 chapters. It started last chapter and it goes over here, but it's so interesting I love the way he draws the action and the way he draws the impact of Kuma hitting Saturn and just sending him completely flying. But but there's the way that the people in the world government talk about life, and we've talked about it with Saturn before. But like even the Marines are talking about like, you know the fact that he was punched is an atrocity. But so I don't. It just shows the moral bankruptcy of the world government. Just completely messed up priorities. Not, I don't know. They don't have any sort of, if people knew what they were doing, would they have any sort of legitimacy to rule at all? Like, what are they hiding about their history that justifies these sorts of measures? It must be pretty bad. They've been hiding it from all of us. But I'd love to see Luffy take care of. We're gonna escape to somewhere. Maybe there's a giant robot or something that'll fly away, or some sort of teleportation or a way to sneak out.
I forgot about the ancient giant robot that's hanging out.
The giant god warrior
that turned on, but we haven't seen yet. Oh.
So, but Luffy is gonna, Luffy's curiously missing. So I think we're gonna have to have Luffy maybe try and fight Saturn. I'd love to see that. And, maybe somebody will punch Kizaru for what he did to Frankie. Frankie's kind of like probably on the ground like Yamcha right now, just sort of smoking.
I hope not.
Not dead, but he's definitely burnt, badly. That's those are my thoughts on the chapter.
Burnt badly. He is made of metal. Bell, your thoughts on Kizaru? I mean the chapter.
But he was hit in the back, Zach.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's his weakness, right?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. You're right. I forgot about that. His one weakness.
Mm-hmm.
Belle, your thoughts?
You're a sad, sad man, Kizaru. Honestly, I thought he was the person who had brought Luffy the food. I was talking to my friends last week. We were like, oh yeah, finally Kizaru is going to do something nice. Because he saw all the relationship Sentomaru, Vegapunk, and Kuma and Bonnie had. Like he saw them. He was there like with them when they were building that relationship, and then he decided to be just like a little asshole. Like, why is he like this? Like, oh, you're sad. But yeah, I'm very happy that Kuma's back. I'm very happy that he came to punch Saturn, even if like it's not the finishing punch apparently, because dude's gotta regenerate. But I'm really happy that he came. I'm really happy that Bonnie saw him. I'm really happy for Bonnie right now. It's just something that I really wanted to see, and I'm glad Oda did it. Because like a lot of people thought he was gonna go to marry Joa, and I was like, no, please bring him to Egghead. It's gonna be a great moment if it happens, and it really is. Like seeing it happen, it's very, very satisfying. I wonder where Luffy is. If Kizaru wasn't the one giving him food, then I'm gonna go with Boa the Seraphim.
Oh, the Seraphim.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. That's a good
That's a
one.
great idea.
Yeah, 'cause,
everyone's
like,
been saying caribou. Everyone
Oh,
has
yeah.
been saying
no,
that.
please, no, not again,
Yeah.
not
No, not
again.
caribou?
No swamp
Oh,
food again.
here's a good question. Kizaru or caribou? Who would you prefer?
Kizaru. Yeah, no, I
Okay,
don't want to
wow.
see the swamp
Okay.
food again. No.
Okay, well.
It was gross in the first moment. It's because like it's gonna be funny because like it's something expected, but at the same time, I think as Snake, I think that's her, right? Yeah.
Yep.
I think that would be funny too. That would be interesting because that would mean that the Seraphims have a not like a willpower of their own, but like that there's something above their configuration to obey the chain of command. Because
Well,
like
she did help Luffy back
yeah.
pre skipping around the world, that
Yeah.
the first half of Egghead.
Yeah, I would
That would be
like to see
interesting.
that. That would be cute. Yeah. I think that's what I have.
Okay. Steve.
I'll kind of counter argue Bell's whole stance on Kizaru. I do like the other theories about who could have gave Luffy the food. I didn't even think about S Snake. That's a pretty good one. It could always be Caribou too. Like, it was possible it could be Kizaru. I was never.
It still can be. I
it
guess.
could still be. Here's what I like about Kizaru's development in this chapter. Yeah, he's still he's in opposition, but it's what he's saying here is like on page like 12 and saying like, you've developed very well, and then on the following page it's like, show me how you've grown. I think he kind of knows, like, is like, you know what, yeah, like I'm not gonna quit, it just complicates too much. But I think he wants to be defeated. He's like, you know what, this is shitty, and apparently you guys are a very different pirate crew than you were 2 years ago when you got your asses handed to you in Shibondi. So I think he wants this. It's kind of, it's like a generational thing. He wants the younger generation to surpass them. That's what I'm getting from this. Like, Kizaru is not gonna throw the fight, but I think he is welcoming the challenge. I think he knows he's like, we're in the wrong here. So I do like that aspect of that. I think because what's Kizaru's motto again, Zach and Ed?
Gray area justice.
Gray area. See?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not surprising, but it's an interesting development. Other than that, this chapter was really short and sweet. Like, it kind of went by in a breeze for me. But that punch, that is like that movie 6 hosted a punch.
Yeah,
it was well worth the wait. Well executed. I can't wait to see how it goes in the anime. But just Oda got really, I wouldn't say sloppy. He went all in on the hatching on that page. And I think for moments like this, like, yeah, I kind of want that grit. Like, a punch like this doesn't deserve to be clean. This, I want to see a huge mess of lines. I want to see some blood, trickling out of noses and stuff. It looked cool. It was very satisfying. But other than that, I just, the stuff with Kuma and Bonnie is so freaking sweet and well-deserved, and kind of just like, with this whole thing, it's like, oh, like, Kuma didn't shut down, he was supposed to be in a vegetative state. So I really wonder what's kicking in here. And I really hope that I still am really pulling for Kuma. I hope he survives this. I kind of hope, like, he might not ever be, he's not going to be the same person he was, but if he could still be there for Bonnie, like, as like a protector, I would like that a lot. Because you got to remember, Bonnie is still on the run from the government, and like, she's she's a big name pirate, but I don't think she's on the same kind of level that like Luffy, Law, and Kid are. Like, I don't think she's as much of a fighter, like, on their level. So, like, I could almost see Kuma kind of being a protector too. But Yeah. My last. Oh yeah, Buster Calls. I don't know about you guys. I feel like the Frankie family and Gallilaw surviving a Buster Call has really nerfed them for me, and that was like 15 years ago. I'm like, I mean, Buster Calls were some scary shit during Robin's flashback, but I don't know. If
This is already a Buster Call, right? I mean, they already have a bunch of vice admirals and an admiral, and what's going to be different? They're going to bomb it more.
If Peeply Lulu and Tilestone can survive a Buster Call, I'm not really.
I thought they were on Water 7.
No,
Peeply Lulu and
No, they all went.
Polly, Peeply Lulu, Tilestone from Gallilaw.
Mozu and Kiwi.
No, the Frankie family. But yeah, they were fun.
Mozu and Kiwi being there.
So that's why I'm kind of like, because even like, what was it, Stampede? There was like a Buster Call, and I'm like, yeah, I guess. Mm-hmm. So this wasn't like the big cliffhanger I think other like chapter endings have been. I'm just like,
no,
okay. It's to me, I just saw this as okay. The government's getting really desperate here. But
it feels like more of a formality for me.
Yeah.
Like, let's, while we're eradicating this island off the face of the earth, let's call it a Buster Call because that's what it is, you know?
More like the bureaucracy call at this point, you know?
I mean,
where's my gold Mushi? Seriously.
Do we lose someone in this to add the strength back to Buster Call? Is this where Kuma finally
does a Buster Call need this?
Like,
does it need that? I think it's more to. I think literarily, I think it's trying to show parallels to Ohara. I think that's what Oda.
Well, and also destroy all of Vegapunk's inventions.
Yeah.
I mean, they almost explicitly say, or Saturn says it, like, you're studying the ancient history, we're going to Buster Call you. Like, that's A plus B equals C. That's how that's going to work. Yeah. Yes, we just go straight to Buster Call.
Bustin makes them feel good, so they just
I'll write it down, but I don't like it.
When they call the Buster Call, do the Marines necessarily evacuate the island? Because if they do, they can just right?
It depends, I think, at the point in the Buster Call. If I recall from the last two Buster Calls, wow, that's a sentence. It's that like they start the bombardment like place by place, and then they just bomb the shit out of it, and then they leave.
Because like if they evacuate and they go a little far from the coast, they can just mother frame everything.
Yeah, that's an interesting aspect too. And remember there were 3 goals they had not to destroy. They didn't want to destroy York, the Mother Flame, and
the Fabrio phase. I don't remember.
There was I think that was the Mother Flame. It was we think it's the Mother Flame. It was like a thing it was a laboratory somewhere. And there was a third thing, which is escaping my mind right now, that I think is very important, and I can't remember. Oh, the Seraphim, probably. But, yeah, I think whatever we were talking about is absolutely true. Completely forgot. Anything else, Belle?
No,
I
sorry.
think or Steve. Where were we? Steve,
no, I'm
it was Steve.
Yeah. No, but that's the last thing I wanted to...
I've had a day. Yeah, this was a really good fucking chapter. I really enjoyed this one. And you mentioned the messiness of those, I guess, like first 2 pages, the 2 spreads particularly. This really reminded me of that thing, and we've talked about it a lot recently, where Oda feels like he has to have the emotion of the page. Like, I could feel his pen in the just like kinetic anger towards Saturn. It's really, really kinetic and cool. You feel this, and you're right, it's messy as shit, and it's perfect. I mean, that's if you're gonna have a messy page, this is good. I think particularly I love the warped looking Kuma on that at the bottom left of that first spread on page 3. Just with the big gritted teeth and the missing eye with the light in it still. It's perfect. And the fact that it connects Also, I think, as Jeff said, the first half of this chapter was just cathartic relief. And he actually does hug Bonnie back. He doesn't say a single word, Kuma, in this chapter. Not that that's so unusual in how we've seen Kuma in the present day. But like, we don't
normally speak back when you hug them.
I mean, there's a whole new TV show where that's the opposite of that premise, Steve.
That is true, yeah.
Which, whatever. Everybody loves Raymond. Anyway.
No, the Ted movie. They made a TV show.
They made that a TV show?
What?
Yeah.
I know. I didn't know about it too, and then it was out, and I'm like, oh, okay.
That's out? They made it, and it's already... Okay, I don't...
Yeah.
I clearly am not plugged.
Ted
You're welcome.
Cinematic
You're
Universe,
welcome,
man.
Peacock. Thanks for the
Oh, it's on
sponsorship.
Peacock. That's why I don't know about it. Okay, I feel better now. Sorry, Peacock fans out there. Anyway, I found it really interesting that he doesn't say anything. We really don't know what's going through his head. Like, we don't know how there he is. I think the fact that he literally, hugged Bonnie here, you have a literal sound effect, I think, the hug on page 10. But like, his face is still very nebulous. Like, the Kuma we saw in the flashback was emotive. Like, you knew what he was thinking. This is the Kuma we knew before the flashback, almost. I don't know if he's more robot than man, or, what's going on here. Super touching nonetheless. I just wonder what they're gonna do with Kuma going forward. And I mean, Atlas obviously is bringing him back to the Laba phase, I believe. And are they gonna try rebuilding him, or are they gonna try reinstating memories? Because I think they did make copies of it. I know we talked about how the paw disappeared, but remember, what do you say? I have a way of downloading it without touching it. Back in the flashback, and I wonder if that actually gives us an out here. I find it really interesting, particularly the fact that it wasn't something that Vegapunk did that started this all. It is something related to his buccaneerness, or more importantly, the power of love, as Vegapunk put it, the power of humanity. Which the way Saturn reacts to that, remember, he ironically thinks of humans as insects. Although, I guess, to be fair, spiders are not insects; they're arachnids. It's not split hairs here.
Power of love is a curious thing.
Thank you. I was shocked it took that long for someone to make that reference, but I didn't want to be the one to do it.
I feel like the last time we hopped on a joke, Steve called us out for it. So I was like, I'm not going to touch it.
I won't
That's fine. No, I'm
Steve, you set us up with like a T on that one, and it's just like...
I'm pro joke. I'm pro joke.
I mean...
I think it was more like, it was funny. I was just like, I wasn't expecting enthusiasm. I was expecting more of like an eye roll. So,
I mean, both. The stuff I mentioned it a little. Luffy being missing in this chapter is like, this is. I think I've talked about this before, but when Luffy is missing in a chapter, sometimes his presence is even like more like, what is he about to do? How is he going to be jumping into this? Like, when he disappeared and he showed up as the giant, pulling out the little doll, his little doll Kizaru from the lava phase earlier in this arc. I'm excited to see Luffy, who I'm assuming is back at, if not 100%, at least 1% that allows him to go back into his Nika form. How that affects Kuma, how that affects Bonnie, how that affects Saturn, all pretty interesting. There's a lot there. And Kizaru is a character. Oh, the one thing I want to mention that we didn't, the Jover line, I think Stephen Paul put it. That really stuck out to me. Before we got to the end of the chapter where he obviously went back to himself, I was wondering what specifically Kizaru was saying here. Was he saying it's over because now all my friends are going to have to die? Is he saying it's over because because of the monumentalness of this moment, or like what is going to happen next, or because he's made a face turn. It's interesting. And, Sentomaru being in that next panel, I don't think is coincidental either. I really wonder how this is all going to end up with Kizaru specifically. I don't know if there's much else I want to say other than go Frankie and go Sanji for being like really proactive and cool, and more Straw Hats doing things. I like it. I think this arc has actually been pretty good with that, considering how non-Straw Hat focused a lot of it has been.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
I have a question that I think the brain trust here can help me out with. I don't think I'm in the minority in not fully understanding Bonnie's powers, even still. Would it be possible for her to use her powers to revert Kuma to an earlier form where he's less robot?
So I think the way it was described with Luffy, like, remember she turned him into an old man?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The way it was worked, they said Luffy in an alternate future.
Yes.
So I don't think it's not necessarily, like reverting time in the person. I think it's reverting age in the person, if that makes sense.
I know.
But it is confusing as shit. Yeah.
I'm going to use an example, and I don't want to say it's definitive because it's from a movie, but in Stampede, Bonnie either turns like doves into eggs or eggs into doves.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but which came first?
What does it matter? You can make any of them come first at this point. So I don't know if that would work the same with Kuma, but the thing is, though, I think because since robotics and cybernetic parts come into play there, it's like, right. Oh well, you'll just make like a sad little kid Kuma with robot
wires sticking out.
Yeah. So
I think
I want Kid Kuma to come back.
Something about her power that she hasn't developed yet that Saturn was trying to hint at when he said, like, when she limits her vision of possible futures, her power becomes weaker.
I think
so, like,
that. Sorry, Belton.
No problem.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, if it's related to like how she sees possible different futures, if she can imagine a future where her dad didn't become dad, I think that's where she can maybe like touch him and make him not necessarily younger, but a different future,
Mm-hmm.
like a future where his
or
he ages, or gets a little younger, and he didn't become a slave. He didn't pass through all those changes with Vegapunk, because that's basically the two futures that Oda drew about Luffy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Luffy becoming the king of the pirates, and Luffy if something doesn't happen. So like she transforms Luffy to the old version that is the version if something doesn't happen. So like if she can see a different version of the future, maybe she can turn them into a version of the future that he's okay. Yeah, I think.
I thought that thing Saturn was saying was to foreshadow when Luffy comes back, she's gonna see Nika, or like it will be revealed generally that's Nika. And I wonder, I feel like that's gonna be like the moment where her power could actually really flourish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe do the things that you just said.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Some of her power is broken. I think we mentioned. Yeah. She has a very overpowered power.
Yeah.
Potentially. Because she could kind of create any future or past she wants, if she, potentially. Not as bad as Sugar's power. That's a really overpowered power. That power is much. Any other thoughts? Yeah, Jeff.
There was one other thing I wanted to mention based on what Belle mentioned with as Snake. I then realized in that conversation that S Bear hasn't run into Bonnie yet, and if he has Kuma's memories, that could be interesting. I wonder if there's something to moving Kuma's memories into that if they can't save his current body, so they can keep Kuma around. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's interesting too. I'm not
maybe
sure.
Vegapunk finally realizes how bad the Seraphim's work of a creation.
I don't know. The Seraphims are an interesting twist on all this, and kind of probably more crucial than we realize. Because again, that's like the things that aren't around that were introduced this arc that we haven't seen. Those are the things that are making me like, why haven't we seen blank? Where's Usopp? Everyone should be asking, where's Usopp? That's a really good idea too. I think if the paw had not been absorbed by Bonnie, there would potentially be a lot more like, oh, you just put his memories in a robot body. But I don't know what's going on in Kuma's head right now either, because if he might be there still. We don't really completely understand what's going on. Or maybe the self-destruct button is the thing that let him go, you know? Like, maybe instead of self-destructing, it did something else. Because it was a really random point in time that he decided to leave the Kamabaka and the revolutionaries. So now I'm just thinking out loud that maybe it was the self-destruct button that did this. I don't know how that would work, though, but we'll see. Any other thoughts? It's fine if you do. Okay. I'm sure we have questions from fans, so we'll go through those. And if we have an anime recap, we'll do that too right after this. Video froze on Steve mid-clap, which was like, oh no, the clap.
Crazy sentence out of context.
Yeah, let's not take that out of context, Delaney, when you're editing. Oh God, I've just screwed myself. Oh no, don't take that out of context either. Okay. This is the Piece Together segment where we take your questions, comments, theories, and determine whether or not Sanji indeed has any thumbs. Let's start. Ed, what's our first segment?
Zach, that is Dispiece.
Dispiece is where we take, and we do it every week, we take our patrons' theories, questions, comments, asides, whatever they say. Oh shit, it's our episode title. In our very first question from Reverse Eye Dash, who says Spider-Gramps does whatever a spider camps.
That's our joke. We'll kill you.
Yeah, exactly. We did not see this question before we made the title. Yeah. Actually, to be fair, they did it at 10:24 this morning.
That's true. We stole their bit.
We did steal their bit. Anyway, what is it that's so special about Buccaneers? It can't be that the power of love. It can't be the power of love, because any old Huey Lewis and the News Crew can do that. Oof.
Huey Lewis and the News Crew? Yeah.
That's also a good title. Maybe we should steal that one. Maybe it's some connection to inherited will, or just that it's impossible to wipe out their indomitable willpower with cyborg science. There were a lot of puns and jokes in that. I don't even know if I caught the question. What's so special about the Buccaneers, I think is the question.
They're large and strong, and
they have a lot of love in their hearts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, big hearts and big muscles.
So it's I think I hinted this. It seems like they were probably, given what we saw, the Ancient Kingdom people. Maybe it would explain why they've tried to eradicate them.
There are There are other like long arms and long legs and the mermaids and the moon people.
Yeah,
All
but
sorts of
those
different
people
races.
were allowed to live in society.
I mean, that's
The
debatable.
Buccaneers have not been.
Well, the mermaids.
To be fair, they are allowed. They just
They're
suffer a
enslaved.
lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they were, but not as much. No, I'm not being an apologist for this. What I'm saying is they technically survive. The Buccaneers, there's only one left, and he's a cyborg with maybe some will left. And also, Saturn was extremely sadistic, I'll say, toward Kuma, like in a way that an ulterior motive for him could exist, like reason for him to hate Kuma beyond just being awful. Maybe. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Next question. Wisdom Pythagoras says, "Hey OPP, do you think Kuma just died? When we look at the insides of his hands in this chapter, we no longer see the pads on his palms." I thought that was a mistake, by the way. We know he had them last chapter because some random Marine made a point to call it out to differentiate him from a normal pacifista, and we saw them on his hands just before he stopped Saturn. Not only that, Kuma is huffing and wheezing in this chapter until the point he turns around to hug Bonnie. His final movements? Could Kuma have used the last bit of his life to save Bonnie? Thanks, OPP.
I forbid him. Honestly, don't, please. I really hope not, because like we've talked about that. I think everyone agrees it would be nice to see him around still. But yeah, that would be very Oda also, to just like his life, he used his last breath to save Bonnie.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say it would be more surprising if he survived, to me. I think that would be that would almost be more interesting, maybe. I mean, don't get me wrong, it would be emotional and depressing and awful if he died, but like how you would use Kuma in the future of the story, and there's a lot of different ways, that's also interesting to me.
Wow, Oda, it would be so nice if you could keep one dad alive, please. For once.
Moms are also having
too.
issues.
Yeah.
Let's keep parents alive.
One
Hashtag Oda save parents.
Hey, Dragon's doing great. Dragon's thriving.
That's why he's far away, because he's not gonna. That's
if you're an
because he's the worst.
absentee,
He's the worst
if you're an
father.
absentee parent,
Yeah.
if you're an absentee parent, you do fine. Let's make
Yeah.
that clear.
He learned that from the Goku play.
Yasip, Shanks.
Let someone else raise your kid.
oh my god.
Yeah, I know. But actually, Shanks' probably dad, Garland, is also, absentee, and he's fine. He's still killing people. Next, again, I'm not. The Celestial Dragons are evil. I'm not trying to say that's a good thing. He's just surviving. It's like how awful people just live into their hundreds. I'm not mentioning anyone except for Henry Kissinger. Professional Punchy says, "Oh, Chuji finally found love. Good for him." Wait, did anything else important happen this chapter? Next one. I don't even need to ask you all that. We know the answer is obviously no. Super Nintendo Chamaru says, "Do you think Saint Saturn is sick of these constant bear attacks? Egghead is like freaking country bear jamboree around there." Perfect. Perfect. No notes.
Yeah, but the bears pay the bear tax.
Yeah, Kuma. Next one comes from, wow, this is a good name. OPP got me into daddies.
This is the chapter for you.
It's called Thank You Daddy, so it is. Well, it looks like we're in another election year, OPP. So which of these One Piece characters would you rather have as president?
Oh boy.
I don't like any of where this is going to go, but here we go. Republican
Jesus
candidate
Christ.
Sakazuki and his running mate Queen, or Democratic, whatever, he's picking random parties here, I guess. Democratic candidate St. Charlos and his running mate Pero Sparrow. Your guilty conscience may force you to vote Democratic, but deep down inside, you secretly long for a cold-hearted Republican to lower taxes, brutalize criminals, and rule you like a king. Of course, you could also throw your vote away on a third-party candidate, Absalom, and his running mate Caribou. Ew. Awful ticket. That one's not. Wow, those are some awful choices. Something we don't have here. Awful choices.
I'm not American. I don't vote in a two-party system. I will not be subject to that.
I like how Belle is specifically. Belle is like, I won't do that, and that's why Brazil does not have a two-party system.
Well, that's
all I had to do. I had to be like, I don't want a two-party system, and it disappeared.
Yeah, exactly.
It's possible that Akainu might not be big on slavery, so.
Fair.
Yeah, at least he does not, for certain, have a pro-slavery stance. That's, I guess, better.
Yes. It's
Absalom I don't know about. Absalom may.
It's one of those
Buster
known
calls,
unknowns.
he's all for it.
He does.
He's all for it.
He loves murdering people. Don't get me wrong.
This sounds like a trap. I feel like the more we
this is again. I feel like, am I defending a celestial dragon or someone who loves murdering?
The more we're going to question our humanity.
I don't like all of this. Could be taken out of context. I don't like any of that.
Who was the running mate for the Democrats?
Pero Sparrow.
Yeah.
Ill.
Thank you. I've been saying this for years.
I'm gonna move to One Piece Canada.
I think you mean Drum Island. Next question, because I refuse to even.
I like
talk
that
about...
no one's gonna answer the question.
No, they shouldn't, because we live in dystopia already. Do we have to live in One Piece dystopia? Next one comes from Cram 2K24. Who says, ahoy OPP, not just banger chapter as always, but incredible chapter. What a satisfying punch. I'm loving how vague, as always, Kizaru's morals are. I really hope we get Robin's reaction to the Buster call next chapter. That will be interesting.
Oh, God, this again? She says.
Oh, my God, this is the third one I've been in. Third time's the charm.
Cracking one open.
She can. In Brazil, we say when you do something three times, you can ask for a song in a local TV show. So yeah, Robin
at least
can
she doesn't
ask
have
for
to.
A song.
At least it isn't like when you do something 1,000 times, you finally got it down. Hoping that doesn't happen to Robin. Anyway, the question.
I hope Robin has a punch card.
Oh, you get a free Buster call with your fourth Buster call.
I think she should get like a free sub out of this or something.
She should at least get a free, really shitty sub. The question is, when do you think the Blackbeard ship will make its move? Have a great week.
That's right.
It's like there.
Blackbeard Pirates ship. Yeah.
Yeah, what is happening with that? That might fuck the Buster call up, though. Because if there's one thing I know about the Blackbeard Pirates and all other pirates is they hate the Navy. Especially now that there are no 7 warlords. I could say that as a generalized statement. Next one, Felix Storm says, ahoy OPP, if Luffy takes out Jerry Garcia, how high would his bounty climb? Playing bounty games here.
420 billion.
I think with Jay Garcia, the
Jerry Garcia would be pretty damn
yeah.
high.
Yeah, 420 is a good number. 420 billion, I guess, right?
Yeah,
that's a big jump, or 4.2 billion you could do, I guess.
Sure.
It as long as there's a 4 and a 2 in it, I think the Jay Garcia name will make sense to all of us.
Yeah.
Belle, I know you were happy when we made that one weed joke like 2 years ago.
I was in that episode.
You were on that episode?
I was.
That's right. Yeah.
What was I forget. All I remember is
Joy Boy Strain.
Joy Boy Strain. I just remember it's Gear 5 Luffy smoking a blunt.
I've seen that used on avatars all across social media.
And the problem is that you did that like when NFTs were a big thing, and there were a lot of like those kind of. And it was like,
I was worried. I was worried.
Yeah.
I'm like, people
that
think
was
I'm doing
a
a
thing.
Bored Ape thing.
By the way, NFTs in the year 2024, I think we all knew at the time this is like a stupid thing people are going to fall for, and glad to see all of us vindicated here. Support artists, not AI.
They just moved on to being AI bros.
Yeah.
So that's the...
But that'll probably, God willing, will also.
I don't know. I've seen Terminator. It's not going to end well.
You've seen Terminator? Next one comes from Big J of Today. The last few chapters have been so deeply moving. The Bonnie Kuma story has captured something very special and moving for me, at least. I feel the depth of a parent's love in his genuine smile while facing obliteration in past chapters, and the sense of how deeply embedded his love for his child in the recent chapters. I don't know if this is likely, but maybe Bonnie will become the child commanding a robot archetype or similar. Well, yeah. Maybe it's a long shot, but this instinctual Kuma, along with Bonnie, could be the 10th Straw Hat member. Also, Zach and Brodsky have great chemistry when they host together. I love how this show has so many great combinations. There's no wrong combinations. Thank you.
Jinbei's the 10th Straw Hat, right?
Yeah, so
Yes.
11th we need.
I guess.
If you count Luffy, 12th, right? I think.
Well, I mean, Luffy does count as a Straw Hat. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
I
see that happening, but that's a that's a fun idea.
I think I talked about it earlier. I kind of don't see, like, Bonnie set out to sea to escape, but then also, like, maybe find her dad. I kind of just don't see.
She kind of found her dream. Like this.
Yeah.
This is like one of those things. Like she actually did what she set out to do.
Well, she does want to go see a bunch of like islands and stuff.
Right. That's she wants to do that with her dad. To be fair.
Yeah. It's like I'm gonna go to Fishman Island, and Strawn's like, we did that shit. But they own a timeshare there now, so I guess they could just be like,
that's
hey,
true. They
ours,
do.
you know?
Their flag is there. They could go back whenever they want. Timeshares. Anyway, next. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I think I'm actually just gonna become Straw Hat Fleet, and that's the destiny of everyone after the Straw Hat Fleet has become a thing. Like, oh yeah, sure, let's put a new Straw Hat Fleet. You can go to the secondary case. Because it's really hard to put a new Straw Hat. We saw that with Yamato. We thought at until the last moment we thought he was gonna come, and then he was like, "No, sorry." And so, I think it's really hard to put a new Straw Hat in the crew at this point.
I think
you can join Bartolomeo and the
rest of the gang. I think when we get to whatever this final saga is going to look like, you're going to have people like Yamato, Kinemon, Vivi. Well, no, Vivi might be a different one. But at the same I think we talked about it back when we were trying to dissect why Yamato was not on the ship. And it's also that Oda will have to draw more and more and more characters and use them in the story. And already this amount seems to be giving him issues. It's a lot of people. So I think, story reasons aside, I think the practicality of a new Straw Hat at this stage is probably not going to happen until everyone joins at the end.
I think it's also nice if Kuma does join, just to join Bonnie, because there's no one from her ship that's notable in the Margarita Pirates. So having him as her kind of first mate would be a nice.
They're called the Margarita Pirates.
So cute.
Why didn't I know that? That's amazing.
Are they?
I do believe so. Although you guys questioning it is making me doubt myself, so we'll see.
I've been in that place. You're probably right. I don't know.
I want to sign up for the Margarita Pirates.
Yeah, are you kidding? That's a great name. If that's not what it is, it should be.
Margarita like pizza.
Margarita pizza.
I'm thinking of it. Like a drink.
Well, the One Piece wiki doesn't agree, but I
see
also don't
Bonnie
care.
Pirates.
The Margarita is the name of the ship, apparently. It's the
jewelry
Margarita.
Okay. Thank
the
you.
jewelry
Thank you
margarita, which is a great
Twitter
name.
Doesn't have to let me know.
But you know what? They should be the Margarita Pirates, either for pizza or for drinks or both.
They should.
I mean, with her
excellent.
being 12, maybe not for drinks. Maybe just for...
Not for her, the rest of the crew. Or for us when we go visit.
When you guys
her.
join. I mean,
Yeah,
the
when we
name's
join.
free for you guys.
Yeah, thank you for that. Sorry. The last dispiece question comes from Ron Quixote D the third, maybe. Hey y'all, I've got a serious question, but if you've already debated it earlier, feel free to jump on the zany one. The serious one, by the way, is basically what is Kuma up to? Do you think he's dead? Do you think he's going to choose death or not choose, but do you think at the end of this he will be dead or living? I know what we all hope, but do you all have a specific opinion on that we haven't discussed?
I'm Team Hope. And I say it with no confidence. I'm not saying this is how the story's gonna go. I don't know. I'm kind of glad that I can't even. I'm never too close to getting my finger on the pulse of what Oda's pulling. But I think, because I think most people are thinking Kuma's gonna die.
That makes me think that he's not.
I want Bonnie to have a dad.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, as a dad, pro good dads, let's not kill off the good dads, as Bell earlier.
Because not to steal anyone else's time for the answer, but we were just talking about, it's like, if Bonnie had the chance, she'd probably want to go see the world with her father. If Kuma's not around, what is she really going to do? And that could just be, I don't know, who knows what's like how S-Bear works and all that. But
yeah. I think it's also like, I don't know what him dying gets us, It's like,
right.
Well, she's already mad. She's going to be more mad, and she'll be disappointed, but like happy she got to say goodbye after that. Versus him staying alive is like, oh, she can, she can have character growth. She can change her arc. They can travel together, like you're saying.
I mean, I think also Kuma getting to see Luffy in Gear 5 would be the fulfillment of his dream.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, that's a very good question. What does it get us to have Kuma dead besides crying, which is, I guess, a goal within itself? Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Oda usually likes doing the opposite of what you think, except when he does what you think, which happens sometimes, and you're like, oh, he did the thing that I thought was going to happen. I don't know. It's a very good question, and I agree with Steve. I don't know. I had been thinking up until this chapter, actually, that death was the most likely, but you guys are convincing me maybe otherwise, and also just the fact that feels the most likely makes me think it's not. The zany question. If each of the Straw Hats had a most favorite soup, which ones would they pick and why? I told you we'd get these kind of questions, Jeff. Soup. We're going to talk about soup.
Is an ice cream float technically a soup?
It's an ice
Why
cream.
not?
Because if so, I'm picking it for Frankie.
That's the right answer.
Yeah.
Is chili a soup? I wouldn't say so. There's really no.
There's chili
It's a
soups, right? There's like
I think
Gazpacho?
so.
there's like tortilla soups.
No,
Is chili a
gazpacho is something
stew?
else.
No, gazpacho is a soup. Gazpacho is definitely a soup,
Yeah, it's a soup, but not.
but
a
it's
chili.
not. It's not a chili soup. Yeah.
Is a stew a soup?
Well, if it's got meat in it, Luffy would eat it.
Yeah.
So
I think some stews
Really?
are.
Sanji would probably want something French.
I'm gonna Google this. Is
Okay.
stew a soup?
Onion soup. French
Sanji
onion
is the soup he made
Along the way.
Baratier. No,
Where the fly was doing the
Soup he
backstroke.
not quite. I was gonna say he's literally the one he made that everyone at Baratier tried to say was garbage.
Oh yeah.
And a poor attempt to get him to leave.
So
Oh.
stews are generally thicker than soups. This is Google talking, being made up primarily of larger, solid chunks of ingredients. In other words, stews are thicker and chunkier, and always have solid ingredients. Luffy would
So
do
chili
a
is a
stew. Yeah, I think Luffy would be choosing like a meat stew of some sort. There's a lot of good ones, and I don't think he cared that whether or not it's a soup. I think that's what Luffy's choosing. Zoro. Oh god, I don't know enough soups.
Which one has the most alcohol in it?
Sure.
That's the answer. Here, list of soups.
I
That's
think
a-
Usopp would like a spicy soup.
yeah.
Yeah. I could see
Oh, who's having borscht?
that. Old man Bones. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it might be Spider-Gramps. Wait, he's not on that. Actually, Brooke would have borscht. You're right.
I think Brooke would have borscht or
Or like a
gazpacho.
creamy
Bad
one
jokes,
because
yeah.
it would help his. Yeah.
Hmm. I think Jinbei would like gazpacho.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Jimbei.
I was gonna ask.
No,
does he
like
eat
a
fish?
lobster bisque. He does. Fishmen eat fish.
Cannibal. Yeah, that's true.
It's not a cannibal. It's like,
They're eating fish, not fish men.
are
A
you
lobster's not a fish.
are you not eating orangutans? You know, like the rest
Then
of
why'd
us.
you say cannibal?
Gonna let that one just
Oh,
the viewers,
God.
listeners could. God, there's a lot of soups. Now I want some soup.
Chopper's got to be the most basic little kid soup.
Tomato
Oh
soup.
no, it's
chicken
it's,
noodle.
I was gonna say
100%
Yeah.
chicken.
Yeah.
Plus, he's a
Chicken
doctor,
noodle
and
soup.
alphabet
Yeah, I
soup.
was gonna say
Alphabet
that.
soup.
Yeah.
Ooh.
yes, but
corn
he's
soup. That's what
he's a
kids have in
doctor
Japan.
though. Chicken noodle soup is the
Yeah.
Cold,
Good for
cold
the
medicine.
soul or-
Yeah.
yeah, Jewish penicillin or whatever penicillin. Want some tomato bisque. Okay, that's it for this piece. We could stop talking about soup and getting me hungry. Ed, it's time to
Peace the tweet. Yeah. It's been a while for Peace the tweet, but we're back and we have a few questions here. First one comes from Shaheen, who says, so after the arc is done, it will be the third Buster Call that Robin survives. She should write a book, How to Survive a Buster Call. Do you think another satellite, or as a separate question, do you think another satellite is going to die before the end of the arc? Is Saturn really the weakest of the five elders? I mean, there's no evidence of the other ones fighting at all, so you can't say at all.
I was during the beginning of the chapter. I was thinking, like, is Sponge going to take him out? Like, is he actually stronger? And like, or does he? You know, political power could be more than real power sometimes. For all the power
powers,
scalers out there,
political powers.
political powers.
Yeah. Well,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
he also has demon powers, so
Yes.
Well, what's the
supernatural.
difference?
maybe devil fruits. Maybe
Hmm.
they're,
I'm
maybe
having
he's,
a lot of
maybe he's the
political
devil.
opinions tonight.
He's the devil, where that's where the fruits get their power from.
This is unusual. There were two questions, by the way, that did not,
Yeah.
or three that did not have the hashtag. I don't know if you saw those.
I did not.
Do you want me to ask?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Just so I don't forget. Lucky D. Roo says, it's probably been addressed at this point, but does anyone think Kizaru is a fully committed heel now, or is he doing something like a Kuma at Shabadi second verse? Also, Zack may never get a Muppet in One Piece, but Vegapunk in the new opening is awfully close, and I agree. I want a Muppet. I do want a Muppet One Piece. That's like just a Muppet version of the series. I think would be excellent. I've said this constantly.
But yeah, what they asked is kind of similar to what I was kind of hinting at during the manga recap. I could see it very much like that.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
But like Kizaru's like you gotta try. I'm not just gonna roll over here. You gotta
Yeah.
prove yourselves.
Any other thoughts? Jacob Davison says, what do you think is Saint Jake Garcia's actual devil fruit, and why is he immortal?
Maybe he's a devil, and that's where the fruits get their power from.
Yeah, I think they're all connected somehow to Emu, and that Emu powers them, basically. It has something to do with the pentagrams and all the swirly swirls.
It's definitely got to be zone related too, because he's got the
True.
He's got the the awakened kind of the smoke ring that like Luffy and Lucci have. So
I don't think they're behind the devil fruits. I mean, the speech that Vegapunk gave made me think that the devil fruits are something either left over from the ancient kingdom or left over from something before that. the pentagram thing I think is separate from the devil fruit. Personally, it had the 5 on it, which makes me think, and it's a pentagram, which made me think it's specifically about the 5 elders. Like each of them have that, whatever that is. And you might be right. It might be emu related. I like wonder about their relationship generally. Like, were the 5 elders also around back in whatever the age of emu was? Like, what kind of level different are they? We know they're subservient, but to like what extreme here?
Well, they're named the same as the rest of the celestial dragons. Yeah. So it implies that they're similar, but maybe they're immortal. I don't know.
Well, there's definitely ageless. I think we've almost guaranteed that. I mean, we saw Jay Garcia back when Kuma was a little kid, and he looked identical. So probably ageless. The last one I have of these 3, Ed, is what is the Buccaneer clan's specialty that Vegapunk was talking about?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely related to abnormal strength, but doesn't
and
really
love.
explain.
I think love is the answer. Love is always the answer.
Is there a world where they're fueled by pain? And this is that residual pain that Kuma's taken in over all those years.
But that's also related to his devil fruit power.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I mean, even as a kid, he went through a lot of traumatic shit.
Yeah. I think it not necessarily has to do with blood, but most with the experiences of like being a buccaneer and how the world treated him. I don't know. I think maybe there's something genetic, but at the same time, he's special beyond that. Like he has something beyond that. So I hope Oda uses that at some point.
I think it's also interesting having it the Buccaneer thing introduced so late in the series, and like it was literally introduced before the flashback. I mean, it was hinted at a bunch before, but not a ton. Like, I wonder if it's something he's had in mind, but didn't have a full idea of what he wanted to do with it. For example, if it's like Ancient Kingdom people or something. Yeah, and you could say the same thing about Nika and all that. And Joy Boy, his name was mentioned a lot more. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, Ed, it's all you now.
All right, we got a couple more questions here. First one from SGamer82, who says, I'm expecting the Straw Hats to escape the Buster Call, but I'm hoping they'll defeat it instead. I recently realized that Straw Hats' encounters with the Navy have always been either fighting retreats or outright losses. When I really thought about it, I realized the Straw Hat Pirates have not had a true unambiguous victory over the Navy as a group since Axe Hand Morgan.
Does Ennius Lobby really not count in that? I feel like, I mean, like, yes, they escaped the situation, but they did. I mean, I guess not by their own hands, but they left Ennius Lobby in ruins.
Yeah, but like they don't even have a ship. Like, how are they going to do that? I guess Luffy's going to bounce around and destroy everyone. But
I like that. Oops! I destroyed the town with my bounce.
Or all the ships, firing cannons at them.
Yeah, I don't know. That's not really their style, to be fair.
No, I feel like they're more likely to escape again. All right, and one more from Gabe Ruiz, who says, Hi, OPP, never been so happy seeing a spider beat up. So what do you all think happened to Luffy? Did someone grab him, or he conveniently fell into the mouth of a giant snake again? Oh, man.
If he's in a snake,
it'd be
or in a chimney.
I could see him, I don't know, somehow like he's up in the sky or something, getting ready to be like huge and come down with like a big, powerful stomp or something.
He shot himself out of a cannon.
We could ask this a different way. What would the coolest entrance for Luffy here be?
Well, falling out of the sky is pretty good.
Like,
think-
what is the craziest? Like,
Riding a robot. I mean, that'd be cool.
yeah, that's a
or
good
wearing
one.
a robot, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like a suit of armor.
He would
That
do
giant robot, like he's
Yeah.
like Giant Robo.
Oh, what about the ancient robot?
Yeah,
I think that's what
Yeah,
we
that
were
one.
that's what I was
referring
talking
to.
about. Yeah,
Okay.
just hanging
Yeah,
off
the
the side
fo-
of the face like Giant Robo.
The longer that
Yes.
thing is not in the picture, the more I think that's definitely going to be playing a part soon. And it definitely is. Well, it's probably related to Luffy, right?
Yeah. I mean, it
don't know.
activated near the time he changed into Nika in the island, right?
Yeah, actually, it reminded me that I meant to mention this, I think, during the manga. It's really interesting that Kuma's journey from Kamabaka to where we are today, this most recent thing through Marijoa, is so incredibly similar to that ancient robot, like the little we know about it. It makes me wonder. It makes me lean toward the Buccaneer being related to that giant robot in
Yeah.
some way that we don't quite know yet. I don't know.
Yeah, because the robot also climbed the red line, right?
Yeah, did the same thing. Did the
Yeah.
same exact thing Kuma did. Yeah, and we learned about that, I think, at the same time Kuma, or right about the same time Kuma was doing it.
Yeah.
I want to see that robot. We're on a future island. Robots, please.
But it's an ancient robot, even better.
Yeah, even better. Ancient robots are even better than regular robots. Any other questions?
No, that was it. That was the last one.
All right. Any more comments on soup? No. Okay.
I mean, we
what-
skipped Robin and Nami, so I feel like we should say what soups they like.
Orange
soup.
Orange soup. Chicken
That's
orange soup.
gross. What the
Yeah.
heck is orange soup? I'm gonna look that up. Which one has orange?
I think Robin is too dignified to eat soup.
The only
What?
the only soup with orange on this list from Wikipedia is Caldillo de Perro. Wow, that
What about
means
what about-
something
what
of the
about clam
dog.
chowder? What about clam
Yeah.
chowder?
Clam chowder.
It means dog soup, and it's a fish
Yep.
from Andalusia in Spain. And it has, what is hake? Maybe it's hockey. Oh, it's a fish.
Hockey.
Garlic, olive oil, lemon.
Chowder.
Observation hockey?
What is Robin's favorite food? I could just look up the
Observe
soup.
me eating this hake.
What do you eat before you die? Because that would be her
Doesn't
favorite.
Robin like sandwiches? She likes hand sandwiches.
Ham? I mean, lots of soup.
Hand, like little hand.
How else you can eat it?
Tiny.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just open face sandwich.
So a soup and a sandwich of some sort, like the kind you dip.
Oh, okay. So she
Like a
goes
grilled
with Panera
cheese
Bread.
and tomato.
2 bits.
Okay. I'm going to go
Stuff
up and
that-
eat soon, so maybe we should round off this podcast. This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 802 for January 22nd, 2024. Thank you all so much for coming on. Please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/One Piece Podcast for ad-free episodes available same time. They are sometimes earlier, sometimes like a minute later, but they're always around the same time. Again, that's patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. We also have all the amazing images Steve draws every week. These were particularly both funny and heartwarming. Not simultaneously, but, well, maybe simultaneously. Also, alternate titles. Our series Forced to Watch 4Kids, where Steve and Alex watch through the entire 4Kids dub of One Piece. And a lot more. We're going to play a little trivia soon, but before we do, Jeff, where could people find you and your work?
People can find me on Twitter at Mr. Jeff Trammell. 2 F's, 2 M's, 2 L's. You can also find my work on HBO Max and Cartoon Network if you want to watch Craig of the Creek or the new movie Craig Before the Creek, as well as at some point on Disney Plus in the coming year. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Thank you, Jeff. Did we? Well, I guess I don't even. Never mind. Steve, where can people find you?
SteveYurko.com. Social media at Steve Yurko. Also on 4Kids Flashback, the podcast I do with Tara Sands. Also on the Let's Play channel, ProZD Plays Games with ProZD. And yeah, that's all.
Belle.
You can find me at Alicissimo on Twitter. That's very hard to spell. I'm not going to do that. But
It shouldn't be easy to follow you.
yeah.
Don't find me.
Don't find me. If you search for Eiichiro Oda on the search tab, maybe you'll find my tweets. But I also have a podcast in Portuguese about One Piece. It's at Road Podglifos. That's kind of easier. If you speak Portuguese, you understand Portuguese, and you want to hear more about One Piece than you already hear about One Piece, we have a little something for you there.
Even if you don't speak Portuguese, you could listen to Portuguese for however long.
Yeah, you can just play it.
Yeah, in the background. People, it's like the ASMR. But it's Portuguese. It's Portuguese One Piece talk. And you'll understand every so often, Kizaru, like, you'll be very angry. And,
Yeah. Luffy.
I'm sure. Luffy.
Yeah.
In Portuguese. Ed, where could the good people find us?
Well, you are Zach. You're Zach.OnePiecePodcast on Blue Sky.
.com.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. And I am Edward E. on Blue Sky. Podcast can be found at the new and improved OnePiecePodcast.com. OnePiecePodcast.com. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is our email address. Go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/OnePiecePodcast. And you can find the podcast on Blue Sky as well. You can subscribe on SoundCloud, on Spotify, subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, and call us on our phone number, Zach.
The phone number is 347-497-MAJI.
Maji.
That phone number again, 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Anytime.
With your questions, comments, theories, or why I will check Skype now, Steve. Or to give us the biggest bear hug in the world. We have a little bit of trivia. We're going to do our popularity poll one because I have fun with that and it's easy. So we're going to go in the same order we did the manga recap. We'll go Ed, Jeff, Belle, and Steve. First 1, 2, 3 wins. I'm just going to give you two characters.
What is it exactly? Okay.
All we have to do, I'm going to give you... So they did a popularity poll with the release of Chapter 1000. So it was like middle of Wano. Actually, middle of Onigashima. So pretty late into Wano. They did a popularity poll. I'm going to give you two characters. All you have to do is tell me who's more popular. And the way I'm going to do it is you're going to give me a number from... Or you know what? I'm going to randomly do it because if you give me a number, then you'll give me a really... let's see, which page? I'll do this one. Okay, Ed. Let's see if I remember any of these names. Who is more popular? Ms. Buckin or I believe that's Ms. Friday. Oh, no, it's not Ms. It's Mr. 13. Who's more popular?
Oh, let's see. Can you repeat them again?
Mr. 13, by the way, to confirm, is the vulture,
the otter,
right?
Oh, the vulture.
Oh,
okay.
I think Ms. Friday. It's the Unluckies. It's half of the Unluckies from.
Who was the other one?
It's Mr. 13 and Ms. Friday because I know the days of the week are...
Mr. 13 is the otter, so Miss Friday is the vulture.
Okay, the vulture. Whichever
vulture one. Or a woman who just kind of looks like a vulture.
Ooh, Ms. Buckin.
I still think Miss Buckin's more popular though.
I'm sorry. The answer is the vulture was 689. Ms. Buckin was 700. So sorry for that one. And Jeff, I'll go on a slightly easier page.
Thank you.
Who is more popular, Gang Beige, Capone Gang Beige, or Foxy, the Silver Fox?
I mean, I'm gonna say Beige just for hope of the planet that he's more popular than Foxy.
You're wrong, and the planet is doomed. Foxy was 132, Beige was 158. Someone's got to get a point here. Belle, let's do this page. Who is more popular, Holy the dog, or King Neptune?
King Neptune. King Neptune.
No, it's Holy the dog. That was a more obvious one, I thought.
Yeah. No, it's just me.
Steve,
I guess it's up to
who
me now.
is more popular? McKinley, that's the name of the guy from Skypiea, right?
Oh, from Skype, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Buffalo, that's the guy with the spinny thing, right?
I'm going to say Buffalo.
Correct.
Yeah.
This is why Steve always wins these things for some reason. Ed,
Okay.
who is more popular? Fuck, what was the name? It was Mother Carmel's version of Prometheus. What the fuck was the name for that one? The son that she makes. It's Pandora. That's the name.
Okay.
Wow, I remember. Or that kid in Whole Cake Island with the motorcycle. What's his name again? I don't remember.
Oh, I know what you're
Oh
talking
my
about.
God.
Yeah,
What a
like
shark.
the
Yeah.
hey, I got my pompadour. And
I
I'm
think
a-
it's the kid
I'm a-
with the motorcycle.
correct, Ed. Good job. Whose name I hear the listeners in the future listening to this yelling at me the name. I also don't care. Next one, Jeff. I'll get at it. Oh, by the way, the difference 804 and 833 for that. The McKinley one 644 and 665. Buffalo was ahead. Jeff. Let's do okay. We called this character Jermeow 66. It was the Calicoach that the Germa ride in to get to the wedding site. Or Eyelash, the camel from Alabasta.
It's got to be Eyelash, right?
It is. Not by
Okay.
a ton, but it is. 241 to 253.
Those are both really high, considering.
It is actually exceptionally high. There are a lot of major characters much lower than that. Okay. Belle. Who is more popular? The captain of the what was it? Brooks' original pirate crew, Yorkie. I forget what was the name of the Rumbar Pirates, right? Or Wanze.
Oh man, Wanze, right?
Yeah, because I said that because it makes me mad.
Yeah, I understand.
Mad Wanze. Everyone has a point. That, by the way, Wanze at 251, Yorkie 259.
Wow.
Steve. Don Quixote Miosgard, the celestial dragon who is now dead, by the way. I repeat, dead. Or Mayor Boodle.
I'm going to say it's Meowsguard.
It's Boodle. You should have went with your Boodle on that one. 295 for Mayor Boodle, 324 for Miosgard. The game is tied. Ed, lightning round, and by that I mean continuing at the same pace. Weevil, former warlord. I think at the time of this, an actual warlord. Or Elisabello, King Elisabello.
Weevil.
Correct. 400
400
to 408. By the way, remember Eyelash? Eyelash was double. It was 200 something.
He's got personality.
Yeah. Where are we?
In the fan club.
Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna get out of the 500s here. Who is more popular, Kuina or Yonji?
God, I'm trying to remember who Yonji is.
He's the winch, Sanji's brother.
Yeah, he's the
Sanji's,
green, right?
Sanji's green brother.
Oh,
The one who's really a douche.
Mm-hmm.
They're all, to be fair.
Yeah.
I personally don't like Yonji.
Mm-hmm.
and this
Not
is,
that means anything.
I'm gonna say Kuina.
Nah, Yonji, 142 to 153.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Yonji fans out there.
A lot of German
One
fans.
Piece
out
fans
there.
hate dead children.
Bell. Some people hate dead children, did you just say?
Some One Piece fans hate dead children, apparently.
I guess. That's
Well, no one
I think
likes
that's
a dead child.
Jesus fuck. I
Maybe
can't
they're just
even.
against the concept.
Yeah, well, okay, that
This
is
is
true.
bad.
Bell. Let's see, who do we got here? Makino and probably Shanks's kid. You know, the little baby.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it has a name. I don't think it does. Or Pez, another baby on the same page.
Bez or Makinos.
Pez is
Yes.
beiges for those listening. Beiges and
Chiffon.
chiffon.
Yes.
Sorry, I forgot for a sec.
I think Pez.
That is correct. Not by a ton. 404 to 422.
Pez has a whole family and he has more screen time.
Pez is going to be the most well-adjusted
Yes.
person in the One Piece world in that generation.
Best reason
Because
child
two-
ever.
Two good parents. I mean, they murder people, but they're two good parents.
But they love each
Um,
other. And they're not
they
dead.
do love
Seeing
each other.
people pop out of your father has got to be weird, though.
Yeah.
That's or going into your father's. you
Yeah.
know?
Like a seahorse.
Yeah, just like a seahorse. Steve. King Baum, the One Piece podcast favorite character, or Mr. Five.
Lenny Kravitz.
Lenny Kravitz, yeah.
I remember.
I'm
King
going
Baum.
to tell you, very close. King Baum, you said? No, I'm sorry. 426 for Mr. Five, 436 for King Baum. The score right now, Ed and Bell each have 2, so they could win if they get this one right. If they both get it right, then we'll do a tiebreaker. If they all get it wrong and Jeff and Steve get it right, then we'll have a super tiebreaker. Ed,
That's
Nero
just
the
another round. Okay.
Nero the Sea Weasel,
Oh boy.
or Oars.
I love oars. I'm going with oars.
No, it's Nero the
No.
Sea Weasel.
Oh man.
376 to
What?
384. Also
Crazy.
an incorrect answer from the fans. I gotta
Yeah.
say that's
Ooh.
Boo
Alright.
indeed.
So is
Jeff.
this just a giant spread with just their pictures and no? Okay. I was
Yeah.
wondering.
I'm
why
sorry,
you
I showed
didn't know
the-
some
I
of the names.
It's in Japanese and I don't read that.
Okay, got it.
All right. Southbird or Zunisha, Jeff?
Zanisha.
Correct. 260 to 267. They're all pretty close, the ones I'm doing. Bell. Kumashi. Yeah,
Kumasi.
yeah.
Because the previous bears were
Kuromas.
Kuma A and Kuma
Right,
B.
Kuma B, yeah. Or hiking bear. I see I'm doing a theme here.
Oh.
Similar.
Damn. I think hiking bear.
Hiking bear. No, Kumasi.
Mm.
140 to 159.
Wow.
So we talked about Steve. We talked about Ms. Buchan being at like 800, but Stussy is at 170. But is she higher or lower than Spandam?
Lower.
Correct.
What do you mean by high? Okay. Yeah,
No, you're
higher
right.
isn't-
You're right. You got it.
Yeah.
Spandam is 163. I phrased that a little differently.
Sorry.
just more for the shock value. We have a fully tied game, so we're going to do a lightning round. I'm going to name 4 characters, and whoever picks the highest wins. They're all going to be close to each other, so it will be essentially random. But I'm going to go in the same order, so Steve is going to have a disadvantage. I'll give an extra one, too, so it's not... let's see who we got. Let's do... Who haven't we done here? Okay. These are good ones. They're all in a row. Ed, pick your highest. Speed, St. Charlos, Jack, who else do we have? Toko, Momonga, or Cricket.
They're
all in a row.
Speed.
Yeah,
St.
Speed,
Charlos.
St. Charlos, Momonga. I forgot Shaki, Cricket, Toko, or Momonga.
Jack.
Okay. Well, that's the highest one, so you're gonna win that, Ed. So I could say that.
Okay.
But they were all in order. So they were.
What number was Jack? Just out of curiosity.
180. I think it was. Wait. Sorry, I closed it for some reason. Pearl is, I think. Oh no, Pearl is lower than Jack. I'm sorry. 184. Jack. Pearl is 192. By the way, I'm sure you knew that by heart, Steve. St. Charlos is one behind. That just baffles me. Who is voting for St. Charlos in a poll?
I remember.
Besides for the Democratic nomination, apparently. That'll do it for the One Piece podcast this week. We have a lot of really amazing guests coming up over the next few weeks. Next week, we have Mother's Basement, Jeff Thu. I believe Jill is also joining us again. We have Anthony Bowling, Emily Fajardo, and Marianne Bray, I believe, all joining us on February 4th. So it's like a voice actors corner episode. Roger Space on the 11th, Randy Troy on the 18th of February, and Rustage, the extraordinary musician, will be on here on the 25th or 26th. All those days are our recording days, so add one to that. Anyway, that'll do it for the One Piece podcast. My name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
We'll see you next week, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.